Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Today is May 18th. I'm Holly Seiler. Leading our news this evening, a 22-month-old child has died days after being involved in an ATV accident in Delta Junction. That's according to a news release by the Alaska State Troopers, who are also investigating the case. Troopers say on Monday afternoon they received a report that a small child had been taken to the Delta Clinic and was not breathing. It was reported that the child was experiencing breathing problems initially after an ATV crash that had occurred a few days prior to Monday's incident, but had been okay after that and seemed to have improved. The child was transported to Providence, Alaska Hospital in Anchorage for further treatment, and his condition deteriorated. The child, identified as Charles Goss, died Wednesday evening while being treated at Providence. An autopsy was performed on the child on Friday. News Center 11 will have more on the story as information becomes available. A proposed school bond ballot measure may need some tweaking by the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District. Earlier this week, the Fairbanks Borough Assembly asked the school board to reduce the bond package request. The current package calls for $68 million in spending to renovate large areas of Ryan Middle School and other exterior maintenance items throughout the school's properties. The school board was advised to split the package into two different bond proposals so that Ryan Middle School project stood alone. Maintenance and other smaller projects would be a separate bond proposal. School board superintendent says the school board will respond to the suggestions next week.
Ultimately, the Borough Assembly makes a decision about what the ballot questions are, how many, and what the makeup of that ballot is. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes looking at what bond packages look like and what that does to the mill rate and what that does in terms of working with the bond sales and trying to look at scheduling and timing of all of those pieces so that it is of the best value to the taxpayers.
In other school district news, school board members cut 12 elementary teaching positions that will raise the pupil-teacher ratio in grades K through 6 by 0.5 students. Members had held out on increasing class sizes in elementary schools. The motion passed by a 4-3 margin, with members Christina Brophy, John Thies, Sean Rice, and Lisa Hall voting yes in favor of the cuts, and Heidi Haas, Charlie Lee Nelly, and Sue Hall voting no. This past Wednesday, the Alaska Department of Transportation began the next phase of construction work on Illinois Street. Northbound and southbound traffic is closed as crews prepare to replace the Noise Slough Bridge. The construction project is just one of the several around the interior that will affect motorists on all major roadways over the summer season. DOT Public Information Officer Meadow Bailey says the initial closure will last just over 3 weeks.
Both pedestrians and vehicles at Noise Slough Bridge, and that'll be for the replacement of Noise Slough Bridge. And we'll start to demolish it, and then we'll open that up so that northbound traffic can go through, very similar to last year. But again, it's just going to be right at Noise Slough Bridge, so the rest of Illinois Street won't be impacted.
For traveling motorists, Bailey suggests you check out 511.alaska.gov to check on updated construction projects before you get on the road. Alaska State Troopers are investigating the death of a 27-year-old Eagle River man found dead at a motel in Tok. In a news release around 11:45 Wednesday morning, troopers received a report of a deceased male that had been found by motel staff. The man was positively identified as Daniel Braun. Braun's body was located inside a motel room at milepost 1314 of the Alaska Highway. Troopers have not released the manner in which Braun died. Next of kin has been notified. Trial for a 37-year-old accused child rapist is set to get underway Monday morning in Fairbanks Superior Court. Daniel Weir remains in jail in a no-bail status. He's charged with 5 counts of first-degree sexual abuse of a minor and a single count of second-degree child sexual abuse. Each charge carries a maximum penalty of 99 years in jail. According to court records, the alleged victims were between 6 and 12 years old at the time the alleged abuse began back in 2007. They say Weir lived in the same home as the alleged victims. State prosecutors had offered a plea deal in the case, but despite the urgings of his public defender that he take it, Weir went against it. When we come back, Joe Miller sat down exclusively with the News Center to talk about his intentions with the U.S. Senate, and Fairbanks residents braved the cold for the Heart Walk and the Really Free Market. We'll have those stories and much more when the Interior's only weekend televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Not guilty pleas for a 26-year-old Army soldier from Fort Wainwright who is accused of choking his wife at a downtown residence May 3rd. Michael Rashad Wright, Germany, is charged with second-degree felony assault. Fairbanks police responded to a report of a man and woman fighting in the street at Wickersham Street and 2nd Avenue. The alleged victim told police Wright, Germany, was yelling at her because she didn't buy enough of the type of groceries he likes to eat. After the woman retaliated, Wright, Germany pinned her against a door by the neck and took her phone and car keys. According to court records, a loaded pistol was also involved in the alleged incident. As we reported, a familiar faces in the world of Alaskan politics may be considering another run for U.S. Senate, and recently Joe Miller sat down exclusively with the new senator to talk about his intentions and much more. Miller announced early last month on his website that he had launched an exploratory committee for the 2014 election. Miller was a Tea Party favorite who won the Republican nomination for Senate in 2010, only to be defeated by Lisa Murkowski in a much publicized and controversial write-in campaign effort that captured nationwide attention. In a statement on his website, Miller said he was unaware of another candidate who, quote, had demonstrated a willingness to challenge the status quo and confront the culture of corruption that reaches to the highest level of American government. Miller also says a lot of lessons have been learned from 2010.
That on Sunday when we announced, I mean, the feedback that we've gotten back has really been astounding. Both Kathleen and I have just been incredibly honored by the people that supported us in 2010 that are back, supportive again. We're under no illusion. We know that this is an uphill battle, just like it was back in 2010, but the stakes couldn't be higher. I mean, I think right now as a country, as a state, we're facing much more challenges than even what we faced back in 2010. Learned a tremendous amount from 2010. You know, I understand that I don't have it all right, and I certainly don't want people to be afraid or concerned about what they might consider to be, you know, a hard right perspective.
Miller joins Lieutenant Governor Meade Treadwell in announcing an interest in taking on Begich. Former Alaskan Governor Sarah Palin has also been named as a possible opponent. Begich himself has been gearing up for what is expected to be a hotly contested and expensive race. News Center 11's Daryl Lewis will have more in his conversation with Joe Miller beginning Monday as part of a two-part series. Alaska's unemployment rate has been on the decline. Last month, the unemployment rate reached 6%, which is the lowest the seasonally adjusted rate has been since 2007. The national unemployment rate was at 7.5% last month. State Labor Department economist Carolyn Schultz says the rate is actually an indication of recovery from the recession and its aftermath. She also cautioned relying on the month-to-month movement of the rate, also saying we would be surprised if it continued to decline as it has been. Whoever said you can't get anything for free? The Really Free Market, yes, really, kicked off this morning at 10 a.m. up at the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. This no buying, selling, bartering, or trading event is always totally free to the public, and today's market was only one of the summer season. The market is a venue for those wishing to get rid of or people who need items ranging from clothing to small appliances, bikes to electronics, all for free. And even though the weather wasn't what organizers or attendees had hoped for, the event still went on without a hitch.
I think it's great for people that, you know, can't afford stuff. They can come up here and look for stuff. I think it's a good thing.
A good thing despite the weather, huh?
Yeah, it's cold.
It's awesome that the community pulls together for, you know, helping other people out in need and sharing and caring and
Good thing despite the cold.
Despite the cold, yeah.
Alrighty. And,
you know, we're all Alaskans. We're out here in 28-degree weather.
Good deals. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
And continuing with the weather not being the most comfortable, more than 1,000 hardy souls gathered at Memorial Park downtown to walk a mile. The gathering was in support of the American Heart Association and their annual Heart Walk. For the past few months, hundreds of volunteers have been doing all they can to generate donations for the Heart Walk. On Thursday, representatives from the American Heart Association were totaling up this year's proceeds, and with more donations still not counted, the association had surpassed their $225,000 goal.
I'm shocked, but not really. I mean, Alaskans were pretty hardy, and now we get to own the bragging rights that by far this is the coldest heart walk that's ever taken place in the entire nation. Just American Heart Association appreciates the generosity and just what an amazing community we have. We are record breaking in the entire nation on so many levels for our events for American Heart Association, and that's a result of such a generous community.
Lots going on in outdoor sports. Despite the crazy weather we've been having, our own Daryl Lewis is anxiously waiting in the wings with that sports report. Mr. Lewis will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Daryl Lewis here in the sports seat for you on a Saturday evening. I hope you're having a good day, and to make it even better, let's talk some sports. Now, as the ASAA State Track and Field Championships take center stage over at Lathrop High School, the longtime head of the state high school organization gets ready to call it a day. Longtime Alaska Schools Activities Executive Director Gary Matthews has submitted his letter of resignation to the ASAA Board of Directors. The resignation becomes effective July 2nd, 2014. The announcement was made last month during the ASAA spring meeting held in Cordova. Now, when he resigns, Matthews will have completed a 48-year career in education and 21 years of service to ASAA. Now, during his tenure as executive director, Matthews spearheaded the creation of the Alaska High School Hall of Fame, which recognizes Alaska high school athletes, coaches, administrators, corporations, and supporters for their exemplary careers and support of interscholastic activities. That's according to an ASAA press release issued to Alaska media outlets. Now, we caught up with Matthews on Friday here in Fairbanks and asked him about the end of an era.
Main reason is because I'm getting pretty old, and I started in my professional career as a teacher 47 years ago, and one more year will be about it. I'll be able to finish up some things that we're working on at ASAA right now that are kind of hanging in the air. One of them is the new bill the legislature passed last year, which is going to let home and alternative education program school students participate in sports and activities at a school near where they live. This is going to start in July, and I'd like to make sure that things go smoothly there. So that's kind of giving me an incentive to go work one more year. And I think it'll be time. I'm slowing down, can feel my body starting to slow down. So it'll be time to step down, let a younger person come in and take over.
Now, staying outdoors, everyone all bundled up now. The annual law enforcement torch run to benefit the Special Olympics of the Tanana Valley got underway around 10 a.m. this morning, Saturday, starting and finishing at my alma mater, the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Now, each year, law enforcement officers from around the state get together for the 5K fun run. The nationwide event has become one of the most successful fundraisers ever. All pledges and donations go directly to the Special Olympic sports and competition programs. Longtime Interior resident Nikki Potter was first across the finish line, but everybody's a winner here. She also says the cause is the real thing.
Special Olympics is great. Actually, all the money that we raise here in Fairbanks stays in Fairbanks. I'm kind of part of the family that started Special Olympics over here. Debbie Hall and Rob Hall, who's an officer for FPD, has done a great job organizing this event. So I'm here to run it for them. His sister Stacy's an athlete, and I'm here to support her as well as all the other athletes.
It is a good thing, and every year we raise about $10,000, and it looks like we're going to be close to that even on this cold May Day.
You hear it all the time, and you know it's not necessarily smart to run from the cops. But on June 29th, outside the Fairbanks Police Department, runners will get the chance. And they won't have to go to jail either, because it's all for a good cause. The first annual Run from the Cops 5K Run Walk starts at 10 a.m. that day. Mark your calendars for this one. Donuts are even provided for the first finishers. Fairbanks Police Lieutenant Eric Jukes talked about the run and also the cause.
And purely on the grassroots of the police department. It's not an official police department function. It was put on by really the officers and the dispatchers here as an event to just bring the police and the community together and to raise money from a charity that we've kind of taken on through our organization, through our personal organizations, which is Wish Upon the North Star, which Wish Upon a North Star is a charity geared towards bringing wishes to Alaska children with life-threatening illnesses.
And finally, as we mentioned, the first Alaska State Tournament in roller derby starts tonight at 7 in the Carlson Center. We caught up with one of the Fairbanks roller girls who had this to say about the United We Roll Alaska Roller Derby State Tournament that features teams from all over the state. And by the way, she's a bad lady.
Planning this project for months. We have a huge committee of girls that have been working really, really hard to make sure that everything is organized, and we've got, all of our T's crossed and I's dotted, and everything has been leading up to this moment, and it's finally here, and it's really amazing to see that it's all come together.
State track and field results and the 14th annual 5K fun run sponsored by my good friends at Presbyterian Hospitality House, which kicks off Sunday morning. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. up on the hill, also at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Results of those activities and much more with Joe on Monday. And that's going to do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rolling with me for a spell. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and download our mobile app, whatever's your flavor. But for now, it's a wrap, and don't go anywhere because Holly's back with your weather. She's next, and we'll see you. Old.
Check. Can you do mic check?
Yeah, we can. And the law enforcement torch run to benefit the Special Olympics for the Tanana Valley.
That's going to wrap up this edition of our Saturday evening news. We're really glad you could join us. That's weird that there's no weather. Yeah. And
go up, scroll up. What the heck? Because I definitely put that in. I must have put it in weather open.
You got to delete the
Okay, there you go. There it is. I was wondering what the heck now.
Am I still on the wrong one? Oh, I got it. I can see it now. Okay. Thank you. So I have a couple girlfriends that are rolling in the roller derby match tonight, right. So they were really excited that you teased their meet tonight.
Well, hey, I aim to please and all this. I'm not going to be out there on no roller skates or anything like that. Not that way, you know. But so tell me something about this weather. What's going on here?
It's looking up. We're going to get right into that right now. This is our Fairbanks Almanac for May 18th. 62 degrees is the normal high, and the normal low for this day in history is 39 degrees, which is way higher than what we're at today. The record high was set in 1977 at 77 degrees, and the record low was set in 1943 at 27 degrees. The sun rose this morning at 4:17 a.m. and will set tonight at 11:22 p.m. It's going to give us 19 hours and 5 minutes of daylight, a 7-minute gain since yesterday. Here is weather around the state today. Fort Yukon is overcast, mostly cloudy in Barrow, and overcast with snow in Nome. Fairbanks is overcast today as well, with a chance of snow and rain, and Healy is in a winter weather advisory. Juneau and Ketchikan is overcast with rain. Bethel is mostly cloudy. Cold Bay is overcast. It's clear in Kodiak. Homer is mostly cloudy, and Valdez is partly cloudy. Lastly, Anchorage is overcast with snow and rain. On to the lower 48, Seattle is overcast with rain with highs in the high 50s. It's partly cloudy in Las Vegas with highs in the low 60s. Denver is partly cloudy with highs in the high 70s. It's also partly cloudy in Minneapolis with thunderstorms and rain showers. New Orleans is partly cloudy with highs in the high 80s. It's overcast in New York with highs in the high 60s. And lastly, Miami is cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms and rain showers, a high in the high 80s. Back in Alaska, Fort Yukon and Nome are expected to be overcast tomorrow. Nome is also expected to see some snow. It will be partly cloudy in Barrow. It's going to be clear in Fairbanks and a little warmer tomorrow. Healy will be overcast with some snow showers. Juneau and Ketchikan are both expected to be overcast with a chance of rain. Bethel is projected to be overcast with up to 20-mile-per-hour wind. Partly cloudy skies are expected in Cold Bay, and Kodiak is going to be clear. Partly cloudy skies are expected to be in Homer. Valdez will also see a chance of snow. Overcast skies are projected for Anchorage with snow and rain showers. And we are expecting a little snow ourselves, an overnight low of around 20 degrees with continued snow into tomorrow. Tomorrow, the snow should stop and we'll see partly cloudy skies with some light wind, a high in the high 40s. And this is our 5-day forecast, which looks really optimistic. No snow at all and more normal temperatures for this time of year with partly cloudy skies and 50 to 65 degree days and 30 to 40 degree overnight lows till I see you back here next Saturday. So it's shaping up a little bit.
Yeah,
Snow.
I look at that 5-day forecast and I see 64, 65 degrees. So
I know. It's something to look forward to.
I'll be all right.
That's going to wrap up this edition of our Saturday News. We're really glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com. And also don't forget to join us back here bright and early Monday morning as that other Lewis, JR, brings you the Fairbanks Morning News and your morning updates every half hour.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.